This is a training session regarding payroll settings. In specific, we will cover the Postings and Paychecks section of the Payroll Setup Options program. To access these settings, select Payroll from the Setup Accounting Options menu, or just right-click on the Payroll menu icon and select Payroll Setup. Now let's move to the Postings and Paychecks tab.
The Print Posting in Summary checkbox refers to the number of general ledger transactions that will be created when the timesheets are posted. If this box is not checked, one general ledger transaction will be added for each timesheet line item for each employee. If the box is checked, the system will summarize all transactions to a common general ledger account or job and cost code for the same employee into one transaction. This checkbox also refers to general ledger transactions created during payroll posting. If a person is paid, say, $20 an hour, the system will assign $20 for every hour worked to the general ledger account or job and cost code the person worked on. However, it will also send additional amounts to the general ledger account or job and cost code if payroll accruals are being distributed to the general ledger account or job and cost code on which the person worked. In the example of our $20 an hour worker, the system would send some $27.50 to the general ledger account or job and cost code for every hour the person worked. If you wish to see the $7.50 of payroll burden in a separate transaction, put a check mark in this box. The system will send two transactions to the general ledger account or job and cost code, one for $20 and the other for $7.50. If this box is unchecked, one transaction will go to the account or job for $27.50. The Overtime Hours Spread button allows the program to spread out all the hours that were entered over all the general ledger accounts or cost codes that were worked. For example, if a person worked on 10 different general ledger accounts or cost codes and put 7 hours of overtime on the last account or code they worked on during the week, the 7 hours of overtime would be spread over all the general ledger accounts or cost codes they worked on during the week. This spread happens during timesheet posting, so it will not show up on a timesheet proof listing. The Print Job Cost Summaries checkbox allows the system to print an extra posting report at the end of the payroll posting. This report itemizes the job costs that were incurred during the payroll posting. Here we can enter a limit for regular hours. If a number is placed in this field, then the system will only allow that many regular hours to be posted for a given employee during a given week. During the posting process, the system will take any regular hours over this limit and change them to overtime hours. Here you can select the level of detail for creation of GL transactions. After timesheets have been posted and paychecks generated, you will at some point be responsible for paying the withheld taxes and accrued liabilities to federal, state, and local government entities. This is usually accomplished by creating accounts payable invoices that relieve the appropriate accrual accounts and pay the proper authorities. The system can create these accounts payable invoices automatically during timesheet posting. All you have to do is check this box and specify which AP invoice batch and vendor will be used for creating these invoices for federal tax withheld and Social Security, Medicare, and federal unemployment amounts withheld and accrued.
Check this box to have the system warn you during timesheet entry if an employee has unpaid commissions in the commissions file. This button refers to the account reconciliation text file that can be exported during paycheck runs. For more information about these settings, refer to the Accounts Payable Setup training session.
Here you can instruct the program to transfer enough money from one cash account to another in order to cover the net amount required for printing paychecks. The Payroll Check Format button is where we select the desired format for printing out payroll checks. Select the payroll check printing format you prefer by picking from this list. Highlight a description to see a sample check form here. If you would like, you can select Form Maker to create a customized paycheck printing format. The process of designing Form Maker checks is covered in a separate training session. If you do select Form Maker as the check format, you must specify the file name of your desired paycheck printing program here. If a laser check format is selected, the Copies and Collation button will be enabled. Click on this button and the following window comes into view. Here you can specify how many copies of the payroll check you wish to be printed, and you can indicate whether you want those copies to be collated. You can use this button to immediately print a dummy check for printer alignment purposes. If you are using the direct deposit feature to deposit money directly into employee bank accounts, make sure the fields in this screen have been loaded with proper information. When the program is instructed to directly deposit money for an employee, it will print vouchers instead of paychecks for the affected employees. And it will create a text file to be sent to your bank, which holds the amounts and accounts that will be affected. This file is created according to ACH standards, so we frequently refer to it as the ACH file. Here you specify which of your cash accounts will be drawn from for direct deposits. Here you establish or change direct deposit settings for individual employees. Those settings are described in detail in the training session on entering employee information. Here you can establish or change settings for individual cash accounts that will be used for direct deposit. These settings are described in detail in the training session on entering general ledger accounts. More options for check printing are located here.
If you have a specific printer on your system that is always loaded with check forms, check this box to specify a printer for paychecks. Then you can use the Lookup button to find your printer and set it here.
Here you can include or exclude a summary of the employee's remaining vacation and sick pay hours. You can include or exclude the employee's Social Security number, or even have the program print just the last 4 digits.
Use this setting to determine whether the system will print your company name on the check stub itself. Use this setting to determine whether to print a pay period end date on your check stub or a range of pay period dates. Using this checkbox, you can specify whether the system will print the check number on the face of the check. This is a good control measure. Since the check number will be printed on all pre-printed check forms, having the program also print the check number will allow you to double-check and make sure that the right check is being printed on the right check form. Using this checkbox, you can indicate whether you want to itemize prevailing wages on the multi-rate check stub. The last setting on this tab refers to the check stubs themselves. If this box is checked, then the system will print one standard check stub and one stub that includes all the hours from the employee's time card. Use the Settings button to indicate how you would like those hours displayed on the stub.
We'll save these entries by clicking the OK button. This ends this training session on setting up postings and paychecks.